Hey, what's going on, human beings? All right. I'm judging by the cover again. Fantastic Four this time, 1970s. Consider me almost like an alien or like a interdimensional creature coming to look at comic books and see what's cool about the Fantastic Four. So this is almost like I don't have the reverence for them being the original super team. We don't care about that. We're just going to look at these covers on their own merit, and we're looking at the 1970s in particular. And let me tell you, I wanted to do a top 10, but the field of competition was so deep that I had to do a top 14, a fantastic 14 covers of the 1970s. And I'm telling you, even the ones I had to leave off, some of them are incredible. So I know a lot of y'all are going to disagree, but that's the beauty of this topic. Okay, when you look at cover art in comic books, there's different things that might jump out at me that might jump out at you. And we all have our favorites. Let's get started. Why don't we? Let's start with number 14. Oh, okay, all right. Hey, don't get mad at me. I know some people are going to say, hey, maybe this one should be number 1 or something. Hey, I'll tell you this. This, to me, is one of the greatest Marvel Comics covers of all time. This is epic. This is forever right here, okay? And this is Fantastic Four 112, which came out in April of 1971. This is the work of John Buscema, the immortal John Buscema, and Frank Giacola. All right, now, this, to me, is one of the greatest Marvel covers of all time, but it's the 14th on my Fantastic Four list because this to me is barely a Fantastic Four cover. This is a Hulk cover or a Thing cover, okay? Reed, Human Torch, Sue Storm, they're off in the letterbox. They're stashed over there. So if you wanted to know what was cool about the Fantastic Four, I don't know if this could really be your number 1 just based on that, but this is a 5-star cover. There's no doubt about it. So this is beautiful work. The way the Hulk is drawn here, I think is awesome. Like just the simplicity, but also the efficient use of detail, and the black background is just perfect. Even just the type there, Nuff Said at the bottom. There you go, man. You know that this is an epic tussle. This is the kind of cover that could have been saved for issue 100 or 150 or one of those numbers. But, you know, that's my number 14, though. That's the reason why. But I think it's one of the greatest Marvel covers of all time. But again, this tells you something about how great the field of competition is when we move on to number 13. Okay, and this is when Luke Cage joins the Fantastic Four in issue 168. This came out in December of 1975. All right, look, Ben Grimm, not even the Thing, Ben Grimm in the green shirt there, and the tie of a man, the necktie loosened around his neck. He is happy to be Ben Grimm again, but lamenting the fact that he's out. He's off the team, but what do you expect, man? But Luke Cage, I never like calling him Power Man, but Luke Cage, interesting decision to join the Fantastic Four, Luke. It's kind of like James Brown deciding to do a duet with the Osmonds or something. I don't know if that's fair, if that's really a fair comparison. Osmonds for the... Anyways, they never walked on the funky side of town. You know what I'm saying. The Thing probably has, though. The Thing got some funk in it. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Sue Storm is scheming here. You know, she's sometimes, you know, looking elsewhere. She's got a bit of a wandering eye. And, you know, she's got the perfect power to do some hoe business. You know, some undercover hoe activities. You know, oh, I didn't do it. She could be like a female Shaggy. You know, I didn't do it. There's no evidence. You ain't seen me. Anyways, I shouldn't slander Sue Storm because she's undoubtedly saved the day numerous times, and a super powerful young lady with her various powers, not just turning invisible for hoe business. Anyways, I should get off that subject. But anyways, great cover. We're gonna go on to the next one. This is number 12. This is issue 140. Very unique cover, and look at I like the word mark at the top. I kind of liked when Fantastic Four had that word mark. Yeah, this is in August of '73. Annihilus. I love the 3 panels at the top here. I've smashed the Thing. I've crushed the Human Torch. I've blasted Medusa and Mr. Fantastic. And now, Annihilus rules 2 worlds. That's epic. Okay? The only thing I don't kind of like about this cover is that the Thing has to get the last word. I think they could have left that off. Calling him a dingbat and all that. It kind of takes a bit of the wind out of the sails of Annihilus. And I love the 3 panels at the top. The action there looks terrific. Human Torch looks like he's being vaporized in the middle. That's awesome stuff right there. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough list to go against. We're gonna move on. Number 11 on my list. I had a hard time even putting this down as far as 11. But that, again, 10 and up, oof. This is the work of Jim Steranko, all right? And this was done in October of '72. Steranko and Sinnott, Joe Sinnott. This is, again, a classic team here. This is beautiful stuff. 11, man, I'm even kind of regretting putting it as low as this. I gotta rethink some of this. Maybe this deserves to go higher, but man, this is great. I love the Sandman. Look at the depth, or the, you see the distance there and how far he's extending his hand to clutch the Thing's wrist. Look at Reed Richards stretching from the left all the way to the right, curving around the Wizard. I never really liked the Wizard. I thought he was a bit of a goofy character. I don't know. Why you called a wizard? Look at Thundra in the middle, picking up what I'm just going to call a mechanical column. I don't know. They appeared a lot in comics. But she's trying to throw it at the Thing. But she was always feeling the Thing. She always wanted some of that thing. Interesting lady, Thundra. Great name, too. I love that name. And look at Paste Pot Pete, the Trapster, with his kind of questionable gun, his paste gun, shooting up at Medusa's feet. Okay, and I love Medusa's pose here. That's a really, really well done picture, and her hair going in all different directions. This is a terrific piece of work. I don't know. The white in the back kind of bugs me a little bit. I don't know. It bugs me a little bit more than I think it should. And I think that's why I'm dropping it a bit. I don't know if that's a good enough reason. But hey, there's so much to love about the next 10. Take a look at this one. This is 175. And this was in July of '76. This is Jack Kirby and Al Milgrom. You can see the Kirby composition in this, I think. Galactus in the back. His hand. And the high evolutionary blasting back. Look at the Fantastic Four here trapped in this bubble. And what they're saying here. We must break free. We must. If we don't, those two will destroy each other and take the world with them. And one thing I really found interesting about this cover, too, if you look at the bottom, it's all the people, civilians and cars and so on, but they're kind of an afterthought. They kind of blend in a bit. They don't stand out whatsoever, which I think gives it an interesting sense of scale that might have been lacking otherwise. I think if they'd colored it in, the image might have looked a bit odd, but it just seems to work perfectly the way it is. One slight criticism I'll have, and maybe the detail on High Evolutionary's, I don't know if I should call it a costume, but his ensemble, let's say that, his ensemble, could have been a bit more detailed. But otherwise, this is an epic cover. You know, this is a big story. And I think that's also part of why I put it as high as it is, despite its flaws. Let's proceed. All right, we're back with Luke Cage, man. Luke Cage in issue 170. This is a couple of issues after the one I showed earlier. That was 168. This is a couple of issues after. Luke Cage battling the Thing on top of the Fantasticar, okay, as Alicia Masters, okay, the Thing's blind girlfriend, is straight up tumbling out of the Fantasticar, saying, "Ben, help me." She's blind. She doesn't have a seatbelt on. They got her flying way up high in the sky. There's a lot of negligence there. There's a few lawsuits to be had. I don't know. That just seems like clumsiness and straight up foolishness to me. Some tomfoolery going on. That seemed avoidable. But anyways, I love the action. It's in my, the top here for a reason. Regardless of the joke I'm making, I do think that this is a dynamic cover. And it is dire. They do need to figure out a way to grab that lady. But again, watching the Thing and Luke Cage going toe to toe in that situation, that's pretty serious stuff. A devil-driven power man, as it says in the top left. And Reed Richards coming up. I don't know if he's gonna try to grab Luke's head. Kind of looks like he's gonna do something there. But anyways, I love this cover. Moving on to our next one. Now we're on number 8. This is the coming of the Overmind in issue 113. This is one of the older ones on my list of May in 1971. The Overmind is a foe casting a huge shadow in the middle. This is a very interesting and unique cover. They don't make covers like this anymore, that's for damn sure. There's so much going on, but it's never overpowering. The layout of this is flawless. Look at the Thing up at the top, Alicia Masters and Reed and Sue wondering, oh man, what's going on with Ben? Mr. Fantastic fighting some cops, twisting them up. The Torch at the bottom, and then the Watcher on the left. But that's the big, beefy, brolic, swole Watcher, not the thin, anorexic Watcher. I don't know, this guy always kind of weirded me out, the big one. Looking like he's pointing at you, looking like he's gonna come at you like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something, hit you with a stunner. I don't know, I like the thin Watcher a bit better. But anyways, this cover is beautiful. I even like what I call those cosmic spots, those black spots all around the Overmind. It looks like he's pulsating with power. There's a lot going on, and it looks like he's got it all in control. This cover says a whole lot. Man, this one could have gone higher, couldn't it? The quality of Fantastic Four covers in the 70s is just mind-blowing. So we're going to move on. This one is 157, January of 1975. This is the work of Rich Buckler. This is fantastic work. This Doomsman in the back, this yellow giant guy, he's getting blasted by the Silver Surfer, and he's not even really acknowledging it. He's got Medusa in his grip. He's got eye beams going on Human Torch. Man, eye beams! Don't look at me with them eye beams. It looks like he's cooling them off, almost like a fire extinguisher. Damn! And look at Doom in the middle, hitting Ben Grimm with a full blast of power there. There's a lot going on this cover. That might even be its only flaw. It's a very busy cover. I don't know if it's really even a flaw, but look at what Reed is doing. Reed is just wrapping himself around the torso or the abs of this giant Doomsman. Well, what's he gonna be doing? How's that gonna work? anyways, it's well drawn. It's just a bad strategy from a so-called genius. Come on, man. All right, moving on. This is 173, and this one came out in May of 1976. This is the work of Jack Kirby and Joe Sinnott. This is a classic team. The composition of this one is fantastic. Galactus casting, again, just the size, the sheer immense power that he wields. It's clear from this cover immediately. The Fantastic Four rushing to save the Earth, an Earth in peril, as it says. The white background in the back, I don't know. To me, white backgrounds should be sparingly used. Sometimes they're perfect. Sometimes it kind of could be a missing element. So maybe that's something missing. I don't know. Anyways, it's still a great, memorable cover. It hits you immediately the moment you see it. So it's worthy of being up there for sure. But again, moving on up, like the Jeffersons, we're in our fifth entry. And this one is issue 157. This came out in February of 1975. I think, and this is the work of Rich Buckler, okay? This is fantastic. Almost ahead of its time in a lot of ways, while also being a pretty clear but not totally derivative homage of Fantastic Four #1. You can kind of see the similarity of what they're going for here. This is Zemu the Merciless, as it says in the top left, the macabre menace of Zemu the Merciless. Invaders of the fifth dimension. Here, the white background, I think, is perfectly fine. I love the white background here, actually. I think it works perfectly. Everybody here looks great. Reed looks great. Look at the left haymaker he's about to throw. Human Torch coming into the scene, and the Thing, fighting those clutches to come, or coming up to try to get him right in the nose or something. Quicksilver, I'm not sure what he's gonna do. He's probably hopefully got some trick up his sleeve. And Medusa trying to get in hair strike range. All right, but anyways, maybe the only flaw I can say is they wasted it on Zemu the Merciless, because I really don't know who this dude is. But if it was a more notable villain, I would have had to put this a bit higher, I think. Yeah, well, sorry. Still, the greatness, the brilliance continues. Even if I'm criticizing any of these, I'm nitpicking, I think, because I think the greatness overpowers any possible flaws that these have, including this one. And 156, this one is December of 1974. Rich Buckler again and Joe Sinnott. Great team here. Dr. Doom in the foreground, saying here, "Into your cages, you witless fools." Oh man. From this day onward, you are slaves of Dr. Doom. He's got the talk, man. I love Dr. Doom when he's got the mic in his hand. And then look at the desperation on the face of the Thing. Medusa's well out of it. Human Torch and Reed in the back, reeling with fear and cowardice. Due to the sheer and awesome power of Victor Von Doom. I love this one, man. This is great. The red background works perfectly. It almost gives it a hellish effect. Reminds me a bit of Apocalypse in DC. Darkseid. This looks like, if DC did it, it would be Darkseid, in Apocalypse, and the Justice League or something would be the ones on the ground. This is great stuff. Yeah, man, we're moving into our top 3. All right, now this one is 141. Okay, and this came out in 73, September of 73. This is J.R. Sr., John Romita Sr. All right, now look at this here, man. There's a lot going on. Franklin, young Franklin, who's got the the Ted Koppel hair going on, or the Howard Cosell hair. I don't remember him having hair like that when I was reading comics. But anyways, look at his eyes, and Sue Storm clutching him with pure fear in her face, and the Thing attacking Reed. And there's a huge misunderstanding going on here. Yeah, man, this is a great one. This one kept creeping up higher on my list. At first I wasn't gonna have it as high as it is, but eventually I just couldn't front, man. Look at this, the composition is perfect, and it just makes you ask, what's going on in this issue? What's happening here? Okay, the end. Is this the end of the Fantastic Four in the bottom left? Oh man. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next one here. Okay, and this is issue 120. All right, and this one came out in December of 1971 with the Airwalker. All right, I just love this image. I've mentioned this in other videos I've done. Around this time, I think in 71 and 72, most, if not all, the Marvel covers featured this kind of border at the top around the word mark, also around the margin at the left side, and then the bottom of the cover. It kind of reduces the size of the image, but in my opinion, it tended to highlight a lot of them too, and really made the images pop. This is no exception. One thing I liked about this format they used is sometimes they would have some elements that would stick out of the border or the limit, just like the fire from Airwalker's back here. There's a lot I love about this. I always remember the Airwalker from the Marvel Universe Book of the Dead. Okay, the Book of the Dead. I love the Book of the Dead, man. I learned so much about Marvel history through the Book of the Dead, including characters like the Airwalker. I always found it impressive, more impressive to see someone walking in air rather than flying in air. And look at all the people on the street pointing at him, people in the buildings looking out the windows. That tells you how unusual and odd of a sight it is to see somebody doing this. So, I mean, I don't know if other people would pick this or not. I can't call it. But for me, this is partly influenced by, I think, the memory of Marvel Universe Book of the Dead and how impressed I was by seeing walking through the air like this and seeing it on the cover in this way. Man, this is fantastic, if you forgive the pun, stuff. Now, we are on to number one, and let me just preface this by saying, I don't care about any consensus, okay? Other people can say what they want about their top 10. I don't know if there's a generally agreed top 10 for the Fantastic Four covers of the 70s, and I don't care. So this is my number one. This is 104, which came out in August of 1970. This is the oldest cover on my list of the 14. When I saw this cover, and I have not read this comic either, okay? So again, when I say I like to come at this like an alien, it's like, what if I had no background knowledge? I'm just looking at this for the first time. Would I want to know what's going on, and would I have an idea immediately from the first image of who is what and what are they doing and why is it important? And I feel like this one definitely nails that. This is Magneto in the middle, which surprised the hell out of me. Like, what's he doing here? And then there's Sue Storm and Lady Dorma, an Atlantean queen, or royalty here in these tube-like prisons, I guess, or prison-like tubes. All right. And then you've got Reed, you've got the Thing, you've got the Human Torch, who has not flamed on yet, and Namor, the Submariner, coming right at Magneto, and the Atlantean guards blocking the way. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm surprised in a way that I found this one to be my favorite, but my eyes just keep going around in circles when I look at this cover. Even when I notice there's some guards in the background, kind of in the shadows, okay? And the buildings in the background. There's a sense of scale. There's something impressive about this. The way that Magneto sits on that throne. The way that the ladies in these tubes are reeling with fear. Or concern, maybe. The determination that the four at the bottom, look at this, nothing must stop us, we have no choice. The human race is at stake. And at the bottom, the Conqueror Says DIE. I think this is, come on man, if you saw this on the newsstand, you wouldn't pick this up immediately? This is an epic issue right here. So I don't care if you didn't think that was a number one, I think it's a number one. See, a lot of this is so subjective, you know, but there's some objective greatness that were covered in these top 14, the Fantastic 14. So listen, in your mind, maybe I'm wrong. Tell me why. Tell me why, okay? I'm game. I'm willing to listen, okay? I stand by my choices, but you all definitely have some other choices. Maybe they hit you differently for whatever reason, and you have different memories of when you saw them. Let me know in the comments which ones hit you that way. Like and subscribe. This is the Pop Culture Cosmonaut, and we're out of here.